This is what most people see of the Philippines. Crowded boats, packed beaches, a beautiful paradise, but one you have to share with thousands of other people. We had seen the pictures and we thought this was it, but we were so wrong. To find the real Philippines, we had to go where the day tours don't. This is the story of how we completely skipped the tourist traps, went on a journey to the archipelago's forgotten islands, and discovered a raw, incredible beauty that most travelers will never get to experience. It's a strange feeling, being in one of the most beautiful places on Earth and just feeling underwhelmed. That was us. We'd seen the photos, read the blogs, but the reality was just a constant hustle. It was trying to find a single square foot of sand to yourself, watching an endless stream of boats turn these quiet lagoons into motorways. A trip to the Philippines is supposed to be a highlight, right? But the experience felt so pre-packaged, like we were on a conveyor belt of curated photo ops. We hit our breaking point watching dozens of boats fighting for a spot at a secret beach that was anything but secret. That night, we knew we needed a new plan. We did not come halfway across the world for this. We wanted an adventure, not a line. Most travelers stick to the same well-known spots, so we figured that finding a quiet, real corner of the country was just a matter of going in the complete opposite direction of everyone else. Our research sent us down a rabbit hole of multi-day trips and off-the-beaten-path islands. We read about places like Caramoan, which people said was like Palawan, but without the crowds, and the Calaguas Islands, famous for pristine beach camping. We realized that to truly escape, you had to commit. You had to get on a different kind of boat, one that doesn't just go back to the dock at 5 p.m. So we decided to get away from the main hubs and head towards the Visayas, to an island we'd only heard whispers about, Bantayan. It was known for being way more chilled out, a world away from the party spots. The plan was simple: find the raw, undeveloped, and quiet corners of the Philippines, no matter how long it took. Our adventure kicked off at a chaotic port in Cebu, but this time the chaos felt different. It felt like it had a purpose. We weren't getting on a shiny tourist boat. We were hopping on a local ferry, the kind that carries everything from sacks of rice to clucking chickens and, well, us. That 3-hour ride to Bantayan Island felt like a real transition. With every mile we put between us and the mainland, the tension just seemed to melt away. The crew was a small team of locals who'd been sailing these waters their whole lives, and they moved with this quiet, easy confidence. There were no booming announcements or strict schedules. We were officially on island time, and we were finally tuning in. As Bantayan's silhouette grew on the horizon, this amazing sense of calm just settled over us. The water shifted from a deep blue to a see-through turquoise. You could see the bottom right from the boat. Patches of seagrass and white sand. Flying fish were literally skipping across the water in front of us. This wasn't about the destination anymore. It was about the entire experience of getting there. The feeling was electric, the thrill of the unknown, the promise of a real experience waiting for us. This was it. This was the adventure we'd been craving. Stepping onto Bantayan Island was like stepping back in time. The island is famous for its powdery white sand beaches, and trust me, they did not disappoint. But the thing that really struck us was the quiet. The loudest sounds were just the rustling of palm trees and the faint laughter of local kids playing down the beach. We rented a motorbike for a few bucks a day, which is hands down the best way to explore. It gives you the freedom to just get lost. Our days fell into this simple, beautiful rhythm. We'd wake up early and ride to Coda Beach for sunrise, where the sand is so white and fine it feels like flour between your toes. The whole island has this incredibly laid-back vibe, which is such a huge contrast to the party beaches elsewhere. We spent one afternoon at the Omajeca Obo Ob Mangrove Garden, this sprawling, peaceful ecosystem you can walk through on a bamboo path. It felt ancient. We skipped the expensive tourist traps and ate at small, family-run spots where fresh grilled seafood was the star of every meal. One of our favorite finds was this tiny place where we had the best grilled squid of our entire lives for just a couple of dollars. We'd chat with fishermen mending their nets, learn a few words in Cebuano, and actually feel like we were part of the island's life, not just watching it from the outside. We did take one boat trip here, but it was different. We hired a local fisherman to take us to what he just called the lagoon, a spot way off the radar, far from the popular Virgin Island. We spent a whole hour there, just the two of us, floating in water so clear it felt like being suspended in air. This was the paradise we'd been picturing. Not just beautiful, but peaceful, and finally, all our own. After Bantayan, we were feeling confident. We had found our travel groove. Our next stop was a place we picked almost by just pointing at a map, Samal Island, just off the coast of Davao in Mindanao. Getting there was an adventure in itself, a chain of ferries and local buses that took us even further from the tourist trail. If Bantayan was quiet, Samal felt like a secret. It has its resorts, sure, but we were looking for its wilder side. We rented a little hut on a secluded beach and made that our base camp for exploring. This island is just packed with natural wonders. We hiked through dense jungle to find Hagamet Falls, which is a whole series of cascading waterfalls and turquoise pools that are perfect for a swim. But the absolute highlight? A visit to the Montfort Bat Sanctuary. It's home to a colony of millions of fruit bats, and watching them at dusk is something I will never ever forget. As the sun went down, the sky just filled with this swirling, chittering river of bats heading out to hunt. It was such a powerful, almost primal force of nature, and a world away from fire dancers and beach bars. We also took a small boat over to Talikod Island, which is even smaller and more rustic. There we snorkeled at the Giant Clam Sanctuary, a protected spot where these massive, colorful clams sit on the seafloor. I'm not kidding, some were as big as a car tire. But honestly, connecting with the local community here was the best part. We shared meals with families, played basketball with the kids in the village, and just listened to their stories. These weren't tourist interactions, they were real human connections. It's in those moments, when you're covered in salt and sand and sharing a simple meal, that you find the true heart of the Philippines. Look, I know putting a trip like this together on your own isn't always easy. It took us a ton of research to figure out ferry schedules, find local guides, and discover the spots that aren't on most tourist maps. So if you're inspired to find your own forgotten islands, we've put together a guide with our entire itinerary, contacts, and all the little things we learned along the way. We wanted to make it easier for you to have an authentic experience like this. You can find the link for that down in the description. Before this trip, we thought we knew the Philippines. We figured it was just about ticking famous lagoons and beaches off a list, but we were wrong. The Philippines we fell in love with wasn't on a postcard. It was in the quiet mornings on an empty beach in Bantayan. It was in the thunderous flight of millions of bats at sunset on Samal. It was in the smiles of the people who shared their homes and their stories with us. Traveling this way, slowly, deliberately, it forces you to connect with the place, with the people, and with yourself. You unplug from your phone and plug into the simple luxury of just being present. It's not always the easiest way to travel. The beds can be basic, and the journeys can be long, but the payoff is an experience that feels completely real and deeply profound. We went searching for untouched islands, and in the end, we found a part of ourselves that craves genuine adventure over curated perfection. And that, we discovered, is the real island hopping adventure. If this is the kind of travel that gets you excited, the kind that goes way beyond the guidebooks, then make sure to subscribe and join us for the next one. We're just getting started.